Hello my friends, I welcome you all to the Creative Thinkers Hub channel. Today we are going to be seeing that how we could redesign a logo. Redesigning is a very important thing because you already have something existing, and if we have something existing, then in that the bar is automatically set to something that the client has already approved and is happy with. So it's very important that we don't go wrong with this. So in saying that, we are going to be starting with the designing of Crompton Greaves logo. Okay, so we put it this way and we put a name CG logo and just say okay, fine. Now if we see the Crompton Greaves logo, okay, so this is the history of Crompton Greaves. Now Crompton Greaves, they started with this particular thing in 1837. Crompton Greaves came into India. So Crompton Parkinson's Private Limited and Greaves Cotton, they joined hands together to form Crompton Greaves Limited. This logo was later refined to do something like this. Now there was a reason because there were two different companies and therefore there were two different logos, alphabets. So they used it in such a way that it is kind of blending with each other. Okay, and then again when they revamped the logo, they kept that particular thing the same. Okay, as you can see in this, the C and the G are quite they are quite obviously different. Okay, but now as we get into the history of Crompton Greaves and what are their main verticals, then in that scenario we get to see something like this. Okay, that they are into gear and gear manufacturing, so they are into industrial products. Okay, and then they are also into point structure of point machines. So these point machines are basically taking something and moving it forward. Now they are also into switchboards and operating mechanism like circuit breakers. So this is also an enhanced version of a switchboard. And then they are into traction elevators. So and then the last that they are into is insulators. So saying that, what we kind of finally come out with is that we could easily make something like this as their logo. Now, yes, this may look very stylized, but let's see that how we can incorporate all these things. Crompton Greaves is purely into industrial, railway, and power. So we are going to incorporate these three elements, okay, and moreover elements of these three verticals and take it a step forward. Saying that, let's start with a circle by pressing the control key. Now in that we are going to be making this 50 by 50 and copy pasting and making another one at the 30 by 30. Now once we have these two circles, we are basically trying to make an infinity symbol because they are doing things on a infinite level in these three verticals. So now we take a triangle which is a 10 by 10 and rotate it to minus 90 degree. Now keep it at the quadrant, copy paste it and put another triangle right behind it. Okay, so now we keep our nudging at 5 mm and nudge them forward by 5 mm. Now what we do, we take the 2 point line and then uh, select the tangent part of it and create this line. Okay, do not worry about where you're starting from because it will take the tangent from that point. Okay, now delete these two, copy this, paste it and flip it. Now this particular point you match it this way. Now this is completing our infinity symbol. Now what we are going to be doing is that if you notice, if you look closely, these two lines are not straight. So we are going to be making a straight line because we don't want this uncalculated you know catch.
in this. Now change the line color, copy and paste it on the other side. Fine. Same way, copy paste it and flip it. Now my friends, most of these lines are same, but you have to make sure that you paste it exactly at the node or the intersection point, and then delete all the rest. Once we are done with that, now our lines are straight and our infinity symbol is done. Now we just put this here, and what we are going to be doing is that now we are going to be taking the main element, that is the gear, because Crompton Greaves kind of works totally with gears. Most of their products are gear related. So how do we make a gear? We take this gear and we take a 10 side hexagon, and then you extend it to a point where this is matching your the node is matching the end point of the gear. Once that is done, take a rectangle, okay, and extend it a little and trim the gear, trim the hexagon, so that you get this uh, perfect gear shape. Now we lock it and we keep it at 5.2. Now why are we keeping it at 5.2? Okay, there is a simple reason. If I copy and I paste this here, okay, and we keep it at 40, so 50 minus 40 is 10, and 10, that if you divide by 2 from both sides, it becomes 5. Okay, so now this has to come out a little, and then now we complete our guess. So you wrote copy paste this, rotate it, uh, keep the pivot point, press control press and left click right click, and then just duplicate to complete the remaining, and delete that extra uh, gear that you have created. Now take a rectangle and let it be 2 mm in thickness. Reduce the size a little, and once we are done with that, you keep it at this pivot point. Okay, now the pivot point is extremely important because now we are going to be making a C. So we extend it. Okay, now once we are done, we check it and keep it at that one line. Okay, make sure that it's rotated and kept perfectly at one line. Only you have to work hard on this first one line. After that is pure copy paste and flipping, so that you get everything the way you want. Okay, now we are going to make the other elements, that is this center part, because we want to create a G. Okay, so for that we take a rectangle which is kind of 10 mm in size. Let it be 10, sorry 5, yeah, and okay, and center CE. Once that is there, okay, we copy paste the circle, and this circle we keep it I think 10. Okay, yeah, and then we copy paste that again and keep it at 5, because if you see the gear, that circle is almost the size of the stick. Okay, so let that be. And now what we do, we come to this point, take a small rectangle. Now what are we doing? Now we are measuring. Okay, and everything has to be in measurement and proportion. Keep it on the grid line, let this be 1.5. Okay, because we don't want that to touch all the ends. We just want something that is going to make an indicative G. This is the G. You can copy paste this, rotate it, and do the needful, but it's better that we take it from here. So let this be 10 and the side be 13. Now why 13? Because 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3 and the center is 10. So now we weld all of them. That's it. Okay, so our G structure is made. Okay, this is our G. Now what we do, we just keep a small rectangle here at this point. Okay, because that's the area where we are going to cut a G, and put this here and nudge it back by 5 mm. So our whole calculation of the whole rectangle, sorry, of the whole logo is at 5 mm. So what we do, we copy paste this because now we want to complete a C, and again keep it at the circle and again nudge it by 5 mm. So that's where our C is going to cut at the first and the second area. Okay, now once we are done, what we are going to be doing is that select all these gear type structures and weld them to this. Okay, because we want, now we are going to start filling color. Okay, so we take our logo, place it here. Now the client is very insistent on his colors. He doesn't want to change his colors. So let's assume that we keep it the same. So we keep it at CMYK 300 and say OK. Fine. And we take the color picker and use it this way. So you do this and add to palette. Select the second color. Click this and add to palette. Now if you see, both these colors have come down here. Okay, so now they are ready to use, but yet wait, let's take this one more color, sorry, one more structure, put this here, zoom in and keep it right at the edge of the gear. Don't reduce the 2 mm, it's extremely important because all our cuts and all our sticks are perfectly at 2 mm. Reduce the height because we don't want things. How we do is that we take our smart fill. Okay, the smart fill, our blue is already selected, so we take the smart fill and we start filling the color in the C. So this is how you fill the color. Now we move ahead and fill all the other gaps too. The circular structure. Now nudge this and then select all of them and weld it. You have to make sure that the behind structure needs to be grouped. Okay, see, now this is our complete structure. Now we make the upper part, that is the G. Now you will get these particular unneeded things because we have welded many objects together. Just delete them. Okay, they are nothing too much to worry about. And then now we will work on our G. Fine. So again take smart fill, come here, take a pick tool and use the green from down. And now say no outline and come here and keep filling our color. See, something like, now my friends, you saw that over here there is this line is what is not connected very well. So what we could do is slightly change it and connect the line to, so that it links, and then you can color it the way you want. Now again we weld all of them, is done. So now we have kind of missed out this small part. It's okay, you can color it again, then select the whole blue one and weld it all over. So we are done with our first basic logo. Now once this is done, We are now going to copy and paste this and leave it aside because this is for the simple logo. Now we are going to be seeing that how with this we can create our more 3D or moreover graphic kind of a logo. For that we copy paste this and put it at 40 degree, 40 mm. And now we once that is done, we select both of them and click R. So this gets right aligned. And for this one, we copy paste this center circle and increase it to create that graphic element. Okay, make sure that it connects, otherwise you might face filling issues when you start filling color. So it is best to zoom in and connect it perfectly. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now once we are done, we can now start filling color in this. So we zoom in, make sure that you group the object first. Okay, and now we get into a smart fill and start filling. So now we start filling color. Now we take this and this part, okay, because this is one area of the whole tire and we weld them. Then we take the same blue and we just let it be. We don't group it with anything else or do anything further. Now what we do is come here, get into the interactive fill and give it this fill. Now click on the white part, click on that and come click on CMYK and just say 100 here. So you will get a blue to black gradient. Great. Are we done? Now you click on the outer welded part and reverse select it. Why? Because we want that blue and this should be a lighter color. So in that scenario, you click here and you lighten this. You give it a slightly lighter color. Okay, which is differentiating. See, in the preview you can see what color you're finally getting and that's how it will look. Fine. So we are done with that differentiation factor, and now to take this further we will be start filling the green part. So we click on the green again, we click on this outer one and then the inner one and also the small tile. Fine. So this is done. Now we weld all three of them together. Got it? So now we weld them and now we try and color this part. So again we take this green and we click here. That's it. Okay. Anything more is going to disturb our thing. Now this thing is there. All we need to do is just come here, interactive fill and say copy. Okay, and say copy this fill. Yes, you will get blue. We just select the lower blue part and come and select the green. It's as simple as that. And say OK. For the up part, again we say copy fill. So select the up part, get into interactive again. Okay, come and say okay, let's give we come here and say copy fill here. It's come blue, fine. We make that upper one green. Now this is how we are getting this slight transition also. Okay, you just adjust these you know the the channels and we are through. Fine. So this is how it will look. So a little bit of blue coming in will look great. Fine. So this is what it is and we are done. Now we will look at this part. So we select blue and start clicking here. That's it, stop here, and then you select all of them and weld them. You might get something like this, how we got before. All you need to do is select all these nodes and just delete it. That's it. We are through with this. Okay. Now we start filling color on the last part. Okay. We shall work with this later. Okay. This part will work later. We'll start working on the last part. So we fill color here and here. Select the last three nodes, move them and weld it. Why? Because this is the inner part. So here we need to create that shade. Okay. And this is the lower part which can be bright. Now again same here, you come into, we copy that interactive fill of that part. Come here, interactive fill, copy and select that. Okay. So it's source and target kind of thing. Same way. Selected source. This is my source. This is my target. So this is what I want to do. Okay, move your uh, nodes and we are done. Now what do we do with this part? Okay, we click on this, and in our last video, if you have seen, now this part we are going to be making how these lines are going and how they are moving around the gears and things like that. So we are going to be making wires that go around over here. Okay, so in our last video we had seen hatch fill in our macros section. So if you have not seen it, please look at it. If you double click here and you put the blue color, let's say we take the pick tool, select a blue and you say OK, and when you say apply, nothing is happening. Okay, why? Because this thing is programmed to basically do hatch fills on rectangles. Okay, so that's the problem. So we select a rectangle, we say place inside container and put it inside, go in and then create a rectangle and come into the hatch fill, again use a blue and then you come into this particular thing and say scale with line and transform with shape and say apply. Okay, once we are done, then you flip this and go that way. Now why did we flip it? Because our thing is moving in that direction. Okay, it's moving that way, so you rotate it and once our movement is done, we say finish. Okay, so this is our logo that is again complete. Got it? So this is our graphic logo and this is our normal logo. So we group both of them and now we copy paste them and move them on the side. Now why are we doing this? Because my friends, if you see the CG logo, okay, this green part, no, even the G is green. So let's create another option where we are doing some transition with the green too. So let's do it with the simple logo first. So you come here, weld this and say trim the circle and come here. Now why did we do that? Because our whole blue was welded together, so we didn't have an option but to kind of break it apart and then make the green. So now this is looking very much like the original Crompton green logo. Okay, Crompton green logo. Now here again we change our interactive fills. Okay, come here, make this green. That's it. Okay, and this one, come here and make this green In the second one, we make it green again, and this blue, we click on green, and just like how we move the slider in the previous one, we move the slider to get our two colors. Okay, so that's, we can play with our top one also a little more, and we are done with that. Now how do we move this thing? Now this is not looking so good. Let's, as we have in the top one, we have done the transition from blue to green. Here we do from green, blue to green again. Now if you see, there is no fill that came here. Why? Because the blue is not there. So what we do, we come here, we copy paste this and put an empty rectangle. Now you see it's come here. Okay. Now when I come into interactive fill again and flip this, because we want from blue till green, and all you need to do is just come here, click on the lower one, and let it be the green color that we want from our palette. Okay, that's done. Now we have lost our these, so put the transparency tool, and there is where you get your wires. Okay, and this is the complete of our graphical logo, which is as far as possible in sync with the Crompton. Only sharing increases knowledge. So please my friends, if you like this video, please like, subscribe and share